What's up, Anthony? What's up, JM? Yeah, man, just life or me just being tired or something just hits wrong. But the good news is, one, I hope anybody who even watches this at any point in the future is having a good day. And two, good news is the baby is finally really getting acclimated. I don't know if that's the right word to use. The baby's getting good at potty training. Finally. He still has little missteps and mistakes, because he's a kid. But he's actually like, I first noticed it a few weeks ago when it was just me and him here, and I was doing something, and I have this little, this little potty. It's actually right there. This little potty for him, that he could sit on and use the bathroom. Um, I think I was doing the dishes or something. Like I said, it was just me and him, and this was after he had peed like directly on the floor, like right next to the little potty. While I was doing an online teaching lesson, I was teaching this one guy actually, and we had to pause the lesson because he peed like on the floor, like so I had to go clean it. When I came back, what my son is doing now is he'll use the potty like completely by himself, like no help, no I have to tell him to go do it because I come back and it'll just be full of piss. I'm like, you know what I mean, like because he's too young to try to like cheat the system, you know what I mean, and put like lemonade or something like that in there. This motherfucker had to have really pissed and just didn't say anything, right? I mean, because he's 3, he's not smart enough to yet to be like, I think I'm a trick daddy and put something else in here. He ain't quite there yet. So yeah, there's a potty training to go. He's finally taken to that. It was actually a few days ago. We was laying in bed, and I'm still putting a diaper on him at night, which I'm probably gonna stop doing that soon. Just get that like pad you put under the kids, so when if they do pee in their pants overnight, it doesn't get the actual bed soaked in piss. But he was like standing. I just had him use the little potty 2 times, right? And so I figured he didn't have to pee. So you already know where this is going. He was standing over me, and he looks down and just goes, "Uh-oh." And like his whole pants were wet, and he had like he had peed on the pillows and where the top part of the bed where we lay at. I was like, "Oh shit." Right. So, I had to get up, change a thing, flip the mattress, try to spray it down with, disinfectant, to keep the odor and the germs, from the piss out and all that. But no, but he is where I was going with that story was I was happy that he at least looked down and said, "Uh-oh." You know what I mean? Like he didn't just pee on himself and thought everything was fine. Like he genuinely knew there was a problem, you know what I mean, doing it. So one, I was happy for that, and two, he is actually genuinely taking to he is genuinely in the mind space of knowing that he shouldn't be wearing a diaper anymore, and he wants the waist to not be touching him, because he'll just like want to start taking off his diaper, kind of thing. So I'm happy for that. What's up, Mo? You working a lot? Word up, man. Hope everything's going good with you, man. It's good to hear from you. I'm good. I guess I just with either with the baby, doing something as a family, doing something with work because I'm a teacher, or and doing some part time therapist gigs, and um teaching. I can't even think right now. Or just or playing a movie. Oh no, playing games or watching a movie. Speaking of movie, I did watch the new Superman movie. I didn't think it was bad. It was a little cheesy at points, but I didn't think it was the worst thing. I was the first half. I was pretty into it. Then it just kind of really got a little ridiculous a little bit of way in. But even with its ridiculousness, like I'm still, I'm not completely let down by it. I wasn't completely impressed, but I'm not completely let down by it. Like I, you know, my main problem with the Superman movie, and pretty much any newer movies come out of North America right now, is that everybody, guy and girl, they're all talking like poshy white bitches now. You know what I mean? Like there's a part in the Superman movie where the guy, which I thought he did a good job as Superman in his own way. I think he should just be his own kind of one-off shot of Superman. I think it like kind of like how what's the guy who did Smallville? Tom Welling. Like he did a great job in his own one-off version of that time period of Superman's life. That was great. But even like it seems like all male actors in America are like at least the ones that are getting casted. They're all talking like poshy white bitches now. Like even when because there was a part where he got mad. And you could probably Google it. You could probably YouTube it. Where he's talking to Lois Lane, giving an interview as Clark Kent, and the way he goes, "People were going to die." Like it just sound like like a white girl poshy. It didn't come off as genuine at all, right? Like I think here's the thing. I think DC's biggest problem on a whole for their movies is that whoever's in charge of casting actors needs to be fucking fired immediately. Okay? Outside of like out of all the people they've ever casted, I would say like and I'm just talking about all the live action DC movies. The Joker movie was great. Um the dude who played Jimmy Olsen in the new Superman, he was good at his role. But and again, Superman, he was okay at his own, kind of like that Superman TV show where it was like that. I think it was like the Mexican dude playing. I think he was like Spanish, but he's playing Superman. He has two teenage sons who have Superman powers too. He was a great Superman in his own one-off shoot. These kind of things. But the overwhelming John Cena was a rare one that I would have never thought would have been great. When I remember the first time I seen John Cena in that role, I immediately said he deserves his own TV show. This was before he got the TV show. This was before Peacemaker took off. I seen that dude for like 15 seconds play Peacemaker, and I said he deserves his own show for this. He did an amazing job. But I will say 90% of casting for DC movies for live action is completely awful. Whoever's in charge of that needs to be fired. I don't know what's going on. The animated shows, DC excels in animated because, they can animate it. They don't have to worry about casting a physical actor to portray the role. So they can just draw the person. And I think that's why DC cartoons movies do very well. I was watching the first episode, what was it? There's a new one on HBO Max. Creacious Creatures or some shit like that. Cutaneous Creatures or something like that. And it's pretty much their own, like it's another version of a Suicide Squad, pretty much. It's a cartoon. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't have a problem with it. I watched the whole thing and was pretty interested the whole way. But it's who's ever in charge of DC's live action casting is just they need to be fucking just either fired or give it to somebody. If it's a director who's actually casting them, look, they need to go subcontract somebody to actually cast good actors because they don't got it. Especially when they're trying to make the universes. BSPC. Superman. Yeah. It is really bad. Then I tried watching Ballerina. I made it about halfway through that, and I hate to say it, man, because I was a big fan of that De Armas girl, because I genuinely thought she would have done a great job, and I don't mean to keep bringing race into it because I'm gonna come back on where I think the race game has gotten very shitty for white men. I think it's very terrible what they're doing to white men now, and I got a lot of that from that HBO DC movie because the lead, pretty much the the head guy in it is a white guy, and they just pretty much make him like this bumbling idiot now. So like it's like American media is taking out their trash on like white men now, and I think that's fucking terrible. You know what I mean? Like I think it's awful how they did that. I completely forgot where I was gonna go with it earlier. Oh yeah, the Ballerina movie. Yeah, with the De Armas girl. What's up, Elijah? Hope you're doing good, man. With the De Armas girl and Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff. Like, She did. I adored her extremely small role when she played like James Bond's like meet up to get him some new clothes and all that shit in the last James Bond movie. I loved her character in that. I thought she was genuine. The physical scene with her, even though short, it was really I thought it was genuinely believable. But this John Wick ballerina spinoff, like she just does not. No, she's just not good. I mean, once you get past her just looking cute, like she's even adopted too many like white woman with an attitude mannerisms, like white woman who's pretending to be a secret spy mannerisms, like it's almost like overacting. Like she goes, no, like way too much. Like it's just, and then like she just does like it's very. What I've also realized is it's very difficult to find women who can consistently put out good action scenes because you can tell their emotions just get to it and they just don't feel like doing it good this take, right? So like the scenes where she's like trying to run or like punch somebody or it's like they kind of do this like and then it's like this 200-pound guy's like acting like he's hurt kind of thing, like, oh, and she just like takes his arm and goes uh, uh, and it is this muscular huge guy who's like clearly a trained fighter. He's like pretending to like fall for her bullshit, like oh. It's terrible. It's just not good. The only woman I've ever seen to do it reasonably well was Charlize Theron in Atomic Blonde, and I still love that movie. But she was, but they exposed how they made her scenes look better because they had to speed up right as she started to hit, so it would look like she was actually like punching with some type of genuine force behind it. Because women just naturally don't understand like force. You don't actually have to hit the person, but to sell it and make it look like it put some rotation because they still kind of punch with their like they're like punching with their shoulders too much. Like that'd be the best way I would explain. Like the Armis girl when she like it was like all like none of her kicks or punches were coming from a place of force. It was coming from like doing this kind of thing on like a 200-pound man. Like you're not gonna hurt a 200-pound man just swinging like this and and just grabbing him. Like you've got to get some leverage and force in that motherfucker, right? Like, and that's something I think like just women just for some reason I don't really know why they just can't understand it in action movies. The regular actress women, they just don't do it well, and it's just not believable, and it overall just kills the entire experience. Like I said, I made it about halfway through Ballerina, and I have no incentive to finish it. Of course, I'm watching it, online, but I have no incentive to finish. It's just not. I mean, it's good because I like how her story kind of like they're showing parts of like John Wick, like slight spoiler. They're showing events of like I think John Wick 2 and 3 are like kind of spliced in between, like how she kind of like bumps into John like as he leaves from the Roma gypsies when he asks for help. I think that was in part 2, and she like catches him as he's walking out the stairwell kind of thing and talks to him. I thought that was neat and interesting. But yeah, she just I was a big fan of her, and now I've lost all hope in her. She just it's just something. I'm sure she's a great person to talk to and hang out with. It's not a personal thing. I'm not trying to make fun of her or like hate her or anything. But she just no, it's just not good. And somebody really needs to tell Keanu Reeves, like, yeah, no, bro. I know Keanu. I know you have a lot of money, and I know people who are working for you are scared that they're gonna lose money. So they like Kanye West. They too afraid to come to you and tell you that you tripping. But I'm not afraid of your money. Keanu, you tripping. You need to go ahead and replace that. If you want to keep on with it, you need to find. This is what you need to do. You need to go out, find a woman who thinks she can do it, shoot scenes with her, and then go take her to actual UFC fighters and these kind of dudes and ask them, does that even look halfway believable? Before you even think about putting that shit in the movie theater. Because it doesn't look good at all. It's terrible. Now, one thing I will say, even though Marvel movies are very formula driven, Marvel does do a better job with making hits and stuff look a little more believable. But DC and the John Wick, they don't understand it. Who's ever in charge of casting, production, whatever the fuck it's called, they need to be fired. It's just not good. That's just my take. That was unsolicited, but that's just my take. How's the fam? How's baby Kratos? Well, Kratos Jr. No, he's not in school. Actually, he was just hanging out with a fam. We was hanging out with. Actually, I met a girl. She's from Michigan, and she lives like literally down the street. I was going to a few weeks ago. I was getting some food. No, I had to stop by the pharmacy, and she just walks up to the pharmacist and starts speaking like American English, right? So I said, "Where are you from?" And she goes, she doesn't know where I'm from, because she didn't know who I was. She goes, "I'm from America." I said, "Yeah, well, where are you from?" And she goes, "Oh, I'm from Michigan." I said, "I'm from Ohio." So we immediately hit it off because for anybody who's in America and knows college football, enough said. But for those who don't know, Michigan and Ohio college football have a lifelong rivalry. So like, and people been known to get in like physical fights over the rivalry, like at games and stuff. So we hit it off, and I told her, like, actually, no, my favorite team is actually Michigan, and I had to tell her the whole story of, like, how it happened on a complete, lottery chance that it happened that way. So she has 2 kids, and so I said, yeah, cool. So we just hang out, we all just hang out. So we actually, last night, we were there all night and just hanging out because her husband's Czech. She's from Michigan, and she was a model. She said she was like, like going around the world modeling. She's tall and skinny. She has all the traits of a model. And I told my girl, I said, like, how I could pretty much figure it from the beginning, how I knew she was going to probably be in that world. One, she's tall and skinny, and two, here's a part that men who don't know here's a part that women models know, but like these rapper guys, these kind of guys, like when they get rich and they want to spend all their money on models. See, these are the worlds. This is how you know. This is how you know that those guys don't know models for real. Like they've never really met a model for real. They've met models off pure superficial bullshit, right? So they're playing into the fool's game. Like these rappers and high paid actors, and they're falling for it because they've never really known models like in their personal lives, right? So when like generally speaking, and I'm gonna throw out an extreme general explanation on it, right? But this is generally how it goes when you deal with um, um, models, right? They generally they're more like I say that if you ever see a girl who looks like a skinny boy, when she dresses up and puts on makeup, she'll catapult to a 9 or a 10. I have a neighbor in this building who's like that, but she's older. And I knew it when I seen her because she looked like a little boy. And then I remember like about 2 months later, she came out and she was like dressed up and she looked like a complete model. She like, I was about to holler at her because she looked amazing, right? But that's how you know, like those girls, any model you see on TV, when you get them out that like model zone of like, walking like she's like with the attitude of a cunt and all that, and you get like she's just a 15-year-old boy with an attitude. Like that's how they generally have been in my experience. And the other part, which I don't mean to down talk her, I don't mean to like be mean about her or anything, but the other common traits that they're usually very dirty at home. They usually have no sense of accountability outside of looking pretty. Like they have no sense of accountability in any other format, right? So they're usually completely useless, like outside of applying makeup perfectly, right? And I don't mean this to talk bad about her because she's exactly in that world. Like I told you guys, the girlfriend I had back in college was the same way. She was thicker though, but she was the same way. And I was telling my spouse this morning, because I told her that I'd tell this story on YouTube a lot about that girlfriend. She died though. She doesn't want to have a heart attack. because they're usually like those model girls. They're usually filthy at home, not messy, but filthy, right? Like messy is just having a little clutter. Like I'm messy. I never do my bed. My bed's never made. I never make my bed. Very rarely do I make my bed. I can be messy, but you would not come here and think that there might be bugs underneath my mess, right? Like there's dirty and then there's messy and then there's filthy, right? And more times than not, in my experiences, the prettier the girl, the filthier she is, like in actual living, right? And I was telling her back in college, and because I tell her the girl's name. I don't say it on the internet, but she knows the girl. I say, yeah. Um, when I moved in with her, she was filthy, and I told this story a long time ago how I remember it got so bad to where she just wouldn't do laundry. And I said, okay, so I would do the laundry. And it got to a point I said, you know what? This time I'm not going to touch the laundry. I'm going to see how long the model girlfriend will let it go. Right. And it got so bad to where it was a pile about 2.5 to 3 feet high of a mountain of clothes laying against the wall with gnats. I'm not exaggerating, with gnats flying around it. And she would walk past it every day, look cute, and go off to school and work, right? And when you see her out in the street, you would never get, for guys who don't know, you would never guess that women like that live like that, right? I have never met a woman who was and then now I'm just going off my experiences. I have never met a model quality woman who was genuinely clean in any way at home. I've never met it. Unless the only way I can see it happen is if she's got with a man who's paying for a cleaner to come home and clean. But any woman who I've ever met who was like model quality, dolled up woman is usually filthy at home because they've never had to. Nobody's ever told them, right? And then it's like, even if you did tell her, she'll just get mad because she knows there's 50 other guys who won't tell her because they want her pussy, right? So she kind of ends up hiding in this ego-driven shell of ignorance and delusion and deflection. What's up, Gaines Day? Yeah, Answer. Yeah, I've never met a qual. I've never seen, met, had sex with, or even known friends to a friend of model quality women like that. I'm talking face and body that was clean at home. Not once. In my experiences, not once. See, those girls where they excel at, see, they're gonna dress up and look pristine and nice and find a guy to go wherever that guy goes. That way the guy never sees how she lives. You know, that's the woman. That's these women's game. They don't want the guy to come back to her place while she's looking like that, right? Because he's gonna know. Because she's looking. See, and this is one thing I said a while back. When it comes to women and dating, more times than not, women date men because they see what the guy is or what he has, and every woman's duty in life is to consume whatever that guy has in hopes that she can become that. Meaning, let's say, like, if a woman is into educated men, it's because she wants to be that educated guy. Or if she sees a guy with money, it's because she wants that guy's money for herself, right? Which in many contexts it works in the sense of money, but like I said, when it comes to like intelligence or like being in great physical shape or education, see, this is where a lot of women, including my ex-wife, this is where a lot of women get extremely frustrated and end up throwing conniption fits very quickly. Because if a man is educated, right, or is in great physical shape, when a woman sees a man, and let's just use great physical shape, for example, relative to her or whatever, right? Great physical shape or education, these things that you can't just, eat or lie your way into, right? Things that take genuine character, generally speaking, in some way. Good physical shape or money or good physical shape or education, right? See, she'll see these, like my ex-wife was the same way with me. She sees these guys and thinks that, well, if I just suck his dick, I'll magically receive what I'm wanting out of him. What I want from my life out of him. Well, over the days, months, years of doing that, it doesn't work like that. Like she still has to put in some work to become educated or in good physical shape, or in better physical shape that she's already in, right? And that's how conniptions and things creep up, and it really is a sad cycle. I tell my spouse, I tell a lot of people, I feel sorry for women's life cycle because it's the complete ass backwards way of development. Let me grab some tissues real fast. Well, yeah, it's a woman's cycle is a very ass backwards development. It's completely ass backwards. Have you talked about the tea? I did see. I haven't talked about it, but I seen it. That tea. What's up, Jen? I seen the tea app. Spill the tea or whatever, or like where the girls was talking about the guys on there and it got hacked, but supposedly didn't even have good security on it. I thought that was silly. I thought that was silly. As again, like, dude, like, see that I've always said what I thought about anything like that. I think it should be illegal for women to talk to each other. I think that, and I think I've seen some religion. I think is it Muslim? It's illegal for women to talk to each other, and some religion. I can't remember. I don't know if it was true or not, but I stumbled upon it somewhere, and I agree. I don't. I think it should be illegal for women to talk to each other because women will say and do anything just because they got their feelings hurt and something that had nothing to do with the situation. They'll create all kind of lies and everything that had nothing to do with the reality of the current situation, just because they got their feelings hurt or they was trying to do something else. Oh, David Black. Oh, I'm good. Babies, he's taking the potty train a lot better. He's good. But yeah, it's a female only app that's been trending in America lately. The app is for women to search up the men they're dating so that they can be safe. And it got see. I think the internet just completely ruined the internet completely ruined women's perspective, which is just women on a whole. I think the internet single-handedly okay, let me correct that. I think by the time now, like, see, now the more I think about it, and this sounds so terrible, but it's true. Like, I see why like countries would keep women uneducated, like just keep them like separated from the world, and they'll thrive as women. As a woman, they end up thriving. You could go to any look up any Amish community where the women are literally locked away from the world and technology and education. They don't go to school past 8th grade or some shit like that. And these women are genuinely happy as women. They didn't get none of those extra stressors and none of that shit. They just, look, yo, the motherfuckers who was against that was right. Like, I think it was. The internet completely, like, women, they can't handle this shit, dude. Because okay, when it comes, let's just use the concept of attractive woman, right? Right. Let's just start at the baseline with like pretty attractive woman, right? Now, there are different types of pretty or attractive woman. There's pretty attractive like Michelle Pfeiffer. Then there's pretty attractive like I don't know, let's say Halle Berry. Then there's pretty attractive like Jennifer Lawrence. Then there's pretty attractive, like a chubby little nerdy bitch. Then there's fat and attract, or cute and attractive. There's different types of cute and attractive, right? Then there's cute and attractive. Like, I think that girl's attractive, and I think I'm the only one who thinks that attractive, right? That makes her more beautiful, even though she's probably not even a good looking girl for real. But something she just you're just attracted to her, right? Like, there's so many different. But the confusion is that women just hear attractive. Like, women don't know how to separate themselves on the hierarchy of attractive. Like, or if they do, they get extremely offended when they aren't just all types of attractive in one. They'll immediately get offended, right? Now, men, on the other hand, we know, like, we generally know the different levels of you know of what attractive we are and where our lane is, generally speaking. That kind of, like, we have a much better awareness of the entirety of reality. Like, but women, let's say, if you went to, like, the most what's a popular girl now? Let's just say, like, the only one I can think of is Miley Cyrus. Let's say if you go to Miley Cyrus and say, like, yeah, you're hot, but you're not, like, nerdy hot. All Miley Cyrus will hear is, I'm not nerdy hot, so he's being mean to me. That's all she heard. Now, she'll try to fake it and, like, oh, damn. But deep down, that's all she'll just run to that extreme. She doesn't. Woman's brain doesn't know how to accurately how to humbly recognize her lane in the game without getting extremely furious that she's not the best at all the lanes. Right? She can't handle it. Like, she'll fake it, but she can't handle it. Guys are doing a far better job at handling it. American, but no, let's Google Bonnie Blue. Hang on. I don't know Bonnie Blue. Oh, that's that girl who I thought she was American. I thought she was British. I thought she was, like, British or something. That's the girl who fucked a bunch of dudes. She came up one time when I was watching porn, and I don't know why, because I don't watch gangbangs. I think she probably just came up because she was popular, because I don't like gangbangs like that. But she was, like, in a gym or something, and because I watched a clip of it because I recognized her face, and she was getting fucked by a dude, and she was saying how girlfriends suck or something like that. But that's no, like, but I recognized her because she has a recognizable face. She has the face of a British woman that's ugly for real, but she's just, like, skinny and in shape right now, kind of thing. And I'm not saying it to be mean, but that's the face. What happened to It's not up right now. Did it just disappear? Yeah, what happened? Uh-oh. Wasn't it just up there? What the fuck just happened? I could have swore it was on there. Okay, I don't know what that was about. So let's go back. Yeah, like, she has a face of, like, of a British woman who's, like, fucked up looking, but she's just, like, kind of, she's just, she's toned in shape right now. Like, that's what she reminds me of. Yeah, for honestly. But yeah, I don't know much about her. Deported. Yeah, I don't know what it's about. I don't know. Can you do Tuesday's live stream request? Yeah, I'll check the email in a minute. Give me a minute. But thanks for tuning in, Comedy Exposure. When the app got hacked, the women's photos were leaked. The hack exposed that most of them are ugly and were willing to date the same men despite That sounds about right. Because well, you know, you want to know why that sounds about right? Because like I said earlier, like I said last time I was on, by the time a woman has to go and start putting in effort in life on the internet, by the time she has to do that, she's fucked up. The only excuse I would give is like, you know, before COVID, when COVID was going on. That's about it. But by the time they have to start, by the time a woman has to start putting in intelligence, have to output intelligence in life, 9 times out of 10, she's fucked up. Something about her is extremely fucked up. Is worst case, like either she's just not physically attractive, so guys are just passing her up on the street, or she's attractive, but like there are clear red flags in her, you know, that you'll notice pretty quick. Like, for example, I remember one time I was getting some pizza, right? I just came out the train station at the edge of Prague, and I went to one of my favorite pizza places, right? Because out here they'll, you know, just cut a slice of pizza and give it to you, right? And I was just ordering pizza, and this girl, she was cute. She was a girl working there, and she was talking to me, and then she smiled, and her teeth were like black. I'm not even like exaggerating. Like her teeth were like black. I said, you know what? I ain't even hungry no more. I didn't buy the pizza. I just left it. Cute girl, but as soon as she smiled, not fucking with that. I bet she's an online dating and keeping that mouth closed and those chompers hidden. That's rough. But like I said, the hard part with women is like there's okay. You know what? I should have printed out the Chat GPT conversation. I went to Chat GPT and I have like hour-long conversations with Chat GPT, right? But usually I don't do it about women. Usually it's about like, you know, the world. Like I was interested in North Korea, so I was talking to Chat GPT for like hours about North Korea yesterday. And but I had a conversation with ChatGPT about the timeline of men and women, and it actually, I mean, it literally was telling me red pill shit back, right? It was telling me everything that society would call red pill, like the timing of men versus women, and why women they would generally suffer to ever grow. And ChatGPT like literally said that women will usually not learn lessons that men have learned 10 plus years ago. Like it was telling me, like, I mean, it was literally just a red pill transcript. Like, if you don't believe me, ask ChatGPT about the timeline of men and women, and just dive into like, you know, the times of value and why do women still think they're valuable when they get older and this kind of. And ChatGPT said that. I tell you what, another thing ChatGPT said. It said that, you know, men, like I've always said, and I'm sure other channels have said, you know, men struggle pretty much from birth until like 30. In those years, like, you know, for women in your age group, you're just, it's a shitty time, right? It's probably much more shittier now than it was when I was 20. But the thing is, men start catching stride at around 30, whereas again, maybe I'm gonna print it out and post it on my YouTube. I gotta go back through the conversations and find it. But it say, yeah, women start to go down around 30 to 35. Women are on their way down, and 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 in that time frame, they start getting no. What it said was, women start to use lines such as they can't handle a strong woman like me because I'm successful, and men are intimidated by like ChatGPT literally said that women will use the excuse that men are intimidated by them to cope for losing their position in the sexual dating market because they got competition with younger girls. I'm just gonna print it. I'm gonna take screenshots of it and post it on my YouTube channel. I don't know, in that, like, you know how you could do the pictures, and I'm just gonna post a conversation I had with ChatGPT because right now I'm just talking bullshit and with no way to prove it. So I'm just gonna show it. I'm gonna put it I'm gonna put it somewhere on the internet. But it said, yeah, right around 45 is when women just can't even like pretend. Okay, when I got to that part, I went on about how since there's always going to be a desperate man around, there's always going to be a desperate man who's just going to want a woman. So women never have to fully learn the lesson of not being desired. And it said, yeah, but even with that, most women will finally hit a wall around their mid to late 40s with that, because at that point, like, just no men are ever gonna want to deal with a 45 and up year old. Well, unless she's like abnormally gorgeous, and that does happen from time to time. But most men, even then, an abnormally gorgeous woman over the age of 45 is just not gonna get, you know, anywhere near the same attention she got when she was 25. And on top of that, you know, men in her age bracket already know what they want, and they're already either with what they want or they're going after what they want, and it's usually not going to be a 45-year-old woman, because a 45-year-old woman is already living in her future. There is no future with a 45 and up year old woman, because she's already in her future. It's done, right? And then, and the other sick part is that, like, most men usually grow out of that love thing. Find my forever love and all that. Most men will grow out of that. But women, since women are never really truly forced to grow and develop, like they always stay mentally stunted. So it's always this thing of, oh, I'm looking for my one and only, my true love, and like they're still 16. They stay there. They never. And then if you try to tell them, it's this weird situation. Like, they know it, but since their ego was so built up on being just desired because of just existing, that they can't let that go. I would put a woman at the age of 45 and up as the equivalent of, let's say, like a man who was, let's say, like Jeff Bezos's kids, who were born into Jeff Bezos's money, and then they just lost all the money. Like, just had no money, by the time they hit, 45. Well, their life, you see, Jeff Bezos, I don't know if he has kids or not, but just entertain me. Jeff Bezos's kids were so used to having that lifestyle, or like, let's say, like Will Smith's kids, like, they were so used to having a lifestyle where they were wanted, because they had money, and they actually believed people liked them at some point, and they would even get off to the fact that people would do anything for them because they had money, right? And they lived like that their entire life, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. What would those people actually do? Like, right? Like, most people will not just accept it and just go eat at McDonald's and work at Amazon. They're gonna keep continuing that lifestyle up, no matter how pathetic it looks and it becomes. They're going to keep doing it, and if you try to tell them, they're going to get offended by it and try to prove to you that they're still rich. It's the same thing with women and being physically attractive in the dating market. Like, their ego was so attached to being brought into the world and being desired in one form or another, just because of what they were, that their ego cannot even allow for them to entertain for a second that they're old and forgotten, because it's hurtful. That's why I feel sorry for women. I feel sorry for women because they're women. Like, that doesn't mean I'm going to give them shit for free, but I feel sorry for women because, like, they were literally dealt a losing card from the start. But the thing was, the horrible Twilight Zone twist was that they thought they were gonna win the whole time. Every one of them thought they was gonna win the whole time. That's the Twilight Zone twist on it, and it's really shitty. And I would feel a little bit more empathetic if they would be nicer. Because then I also asked ChatGPT. I said, why is it that older women never go back and try to teach the younger girls this? Right? Why don't they, try to prepare them for the downfall? But the younger girls, they're just winning too hard. It's like, going on a gambling streak. And once you're winning too hard, you're just not listening anymore. And it's really sad. It's really sad. Like, what was the bitch that killed herself? Who she tried dressing up like a man because she thought that men were just dumb, and she found out, like, no, bro, like, men get treated like shit just because they're men. And at the end of it, She said that she appreciates her privileges as a woman, which, I mean, yeah, depending on how you look at it, you can say it's privileges, but really it's just what's the word I'm looking for? One word I can think of now is pathetic. It ends up just being completely pathetic. The whole thing, like never ask. Like, see, that's where these sayings of never ask a woman her age. See, that's where that stuff comes from. You should never ask a woman her age. You should never ask her how much she weighs and all that. See, you can ask I don't know, what's the bitch name I just Googled now? What's her name? You can ask Bonnie Blue how much she weighs, and she'll tell you because she's at a good weight. Right? See, you can never ask a woman questions that will inevitably deteriorate their value. Have you ever noticed that? See, you can ask a woman when her hair's looking great. You can ask her, "Where'd you get your hair done? That looks amazing. Who did that?" I was like, "Oh yeah, well, Sarah. I've been friends with her for the last 12 years." Blah blah. But if you ask her, "Damn, like your feet are big. What size shoe do you wear?" She gonna get mad. She's gonna turn evil. Like I said, and it's like with this girl, like all that, like it's, and I don't say this to be mean or hateful. I'm saying this out of like a true, genuine care for humanity. Like this girl, like she's cute now, right? She's a good looking girl now. Let's be honest, she's a good looking girl. But the one thing that is for certain, either she's gonna die young, or she's gonna grow old and ugly. Those are two. Pick one of the other paths. Those are the only two guaranteed ways out of it. Either she's going to die young and pretty, or she's going to grow to be old, bitter, and ugly. Or uglier than she is now. This is the height of her life. In terms of being attractive, of what women deem heights of life. Let's be very clear on that. Of what women deem valuable. Like I used to always say, if you put this woman, let's say you put this girl, if you were to put this girl and the Queen of England in a room, right? Literally before she died, of course. If you put this woman, let's just do this. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying this to be mean. Like I would have loved to meet this woman because I bet she had some hilarious stories to tell in her position, right? For somebody who could speak directly in reality, I bet this woman was hilarious. I could see it in her face. She probably had some great stories to tell, right? But in woman's world, right? In woman's world, this woman was literally the Queen of England, and this is just some hussy who threw on $30 of makeup and started sucking dicks, right? Now, let's be clear. Now, this woman would never be jealous of this woman. Okay. She was literally the Queen of England. Right? And this woman would never be jealous of this woman. But this woman would be jealous of this woman. Okay. If you put them two in a room together where they all had to talk and socialize, it wouldn't take long before she would start going, "Oh, she thinks she's so cute, and she walks around with this fake attitude, and the guys, because she know men like it, and blah, blah, blah." The Queen of England would get jealous over a hussy with 20 pounds of makeup on and sucking dicks. That's how, because see, as woman, see, the Queen, the Queen, I'm sure the Queen of England, I'm sure she was a great person to talk to, just like the Bonnie Blue girl. I'm sure they're great people to talk to and all that. But you have to understand woman's currency. Woman's currency is literally attention, is literally attention for being fuckable. That's her currency. That's it. If this woman had the genie from Aladdin, right? And it was Robin Williams bouncing all around in that blue shit. He was blue with the fucking goatee. It's like, you never had a friend like me. Boom. All that shit like that, right? And he came to the Queen and said, "Hey, Queen of England, you got 3 wishes. What would one of your wishes be?" Her first wish would be to look like her. And she wouldn't even think of, well, how do I hold on to being Queen of England even after I die? Her first thought would be to look like that. I guarantee her first wishes would be that. Now, if you flip it, and let's say Robert Williams came out and voiced the motherfucking everything, like, you ain't never had a friend like me, bonk, right? And say, hey, bitch, what do you want for? I give you a wish. I guarantee you, she would not wish to switch bodies with her, in positions and all that with her. Guarantee you. Guarantee she wouldn't, because that's woman's currency. Now, on the flip side, right? Now let's flip the whole logic. Let's take regular white dude, right? Let's take regular white dude, and then let's use Bill Gates, right? Let's take like regular. Let's say, okay, I don't know. Let's take like just a regular white dude, right? Now, if you were to do the same experiment with these two, as Bill Gates and this regular white dude, right? Bill Gates would never ever change the position to go back. You ain't never had a friend like me, bonk. Look, Bill Gates would never lose. He would never, never. And he would jump at the chance to become Bill Gates. Motherfucker, if you gave me a snowball's chance in the hell to be Bill Gates, I would take it. All right? I will be 75 and be Bill Gates in a heartbeat. All right? It don't matter. Because as men in the world in, modern day times, Bill Gates is more valuable, right? As men in modern times go. Now, in caveman days, it would be a detriment. But in modern times, of course, Bill Gates is the shit, right? Let's not even take a regular white. Let's take fucking. I remember Mark McGuire for the. I don't know why I thought of him, but Mark McGuire. I don't know how you spell that motherfucker's name, but he was he played baseball. He was one of them home run dudes. Even if you take a white, like, I mean, anybody, it don't have to be white, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, he would take that every day of the week. Now, again, this way, she would see turning into that as death. But now, here's the sad part about the experiment. Here's the sad part about the experiment. Is this woman will inevitably become this anyway. There is nothing she can do unless she dies while she's young. There's nothing she will inevitably become this. Every woman will inevitably become this. That's the sad part. And that's why I feel sorry for women, because, like I said, their growth pattern is just so ass backwards that even if you try to tell them, it's just oppression at that point. It's oppression. And like I said a long time ago too, see right now, she's looking at the Queen of England going, ew, look at her skin, look at her lipstick, look at her wrinkles on her face, ew. But see, when she ends up turning into the Queen of England, physically wise, see, now you're not supposed to say anything about that. About the wrinkles in her face and lipstick and all that, right? See, now it's mean to say that to an old woman. It's mean to say that to an old woman. See, why is it mean to say it? See, these are the secrets that women hope men never develop. These are the secrets that women hope that men never develop into understanding or knowing. Is that see, when the Queen of England was young, she was looking at older women going, ew, look at her, look at her, blah, blah, blah. When she was probably younger and a little cuter, right? The reason why women get so sensitive to their aging is because they remember when they used to make fun of other women who aged. They remember when they used to just look down on them. See, that's where all that. See, you could say it about men. You know, I mean, it could be uncomfortable, but men don't get that same level of that you won't get that same level of hostility from a woman from a man, that how dare you and all this stuff like that, blah blah. You don't get that same hostility from a man in the same way you would get it from a woman, right? To the point where like women have manipulated the world so much that now like they can get a whole room to jump up against you about it now. Women have done such great jobs at manipulating. But ask yourself, where would that really come from? Like seriously ask yourself, how did that happen? Why is it that it's supposedly offensive to ask a woman? Like, okay, now personally, me, I would just ask any woman her age, all right? And generally speaking, when I do this, for whatever reason, whether she's older or younger, and you know, it's about how you do it. Like, for example, I teach a woman at a bank now, and I think she's like 5 years older than me, right? And she's cool. She's I think she's a great woman. I think I'm actually pretty proud of her for her position, and because she just went to a MotoGP event. They had like a championship in Brno for MotoGP, and she was there. She showed me the pictures where she was at, and she was standing next to a motorcycle, next to the racers and all that. She was like, I told her, I said, I'm actually really proud of you, you know, for whatever it's worth, you know, because we're roughly the same age. Um, um, I lost the train of thought because I was thinking about the picture she was telling me. Um, Oh, but asking the age. I remember when we first met, I asked her how old she was. 'Cause, you know, because she's a white woman. And, you know, generally speaking, like, white people age a bit hard, especially white women. They age harsher. Not so much white men, but white women, they age very poorly, especially Slavic women. They generally tend to age very poorly, very quickly, right? And I don't really know why that is, because I don't know why that is, to be honest. But they do. They for one reason or another, like some part of their like skin or facial structure or something just like completely just deforms. I don't know what the fuck what it is, why it is, but it does it. Or they just get fat. Now she's tall and skinny. I remember I asked her how old she was, and I could see in her face that she wanted to hit me with a "How dare you ask me that" kind of thing. But like they can tell like how you said it if you're going to even entertain that bullshit of like, how dare you ask me that? And you're just asking a direct and straight question without any bullshit. And she told me, you know, she told me. But yeah, really think about where that being offended comes from of ask women their age, how much they weigh, and all that. See, it didn't just magic. See what women hope with most of their lives, and what has to do with their life, you know, they hope that men will just not know what's going on and just randomly accept it. Right? See, this is the manipulation tactics that women like to use in life. In the world, it's how they survived, by having to like leech off of men for survival for 99% of their existence. Right? So it's second nature to them. They hope that as men, you just blindly accept them. You don't ask where it comes from, why it's made, how it's made. Because once you start asking where something comes from, how it's made, why it's made, then the women will start getting mad, because now there's logic to be applied. And at this point in life, most women are fully aware that they've lied and manipulated their way to be comfortable. So by the time they have to start acknowledging facts, see, this is why facts are very mean to women, because they know that their life has been built off of lies and bullshit. Right? So when you start to dive into facts, most women don't want anything to do with facts, because facts are like a carnival mirror looking back at them of what they've done in their life. Right? It just makes them look worse. The curves in the mirror just makes it all look worse. So this is why most cases, when you start dealing with when you deal with women, especially as they start to age, see, this is why when they start to talk about their hobbies and things they like to do, very rarely will you find a woman who's genuinely interested in things that are like backed by science, backed by any factual logic. Usually they'll usually get into things like not constellations, but astrology. I always get astrology. They'll usually get like their hobbies and traits. I mean, their hobbies and things will usually veer off in the shit that's even more fueled by unprovable nonsense, right? And now I just thought of this theory while I was ranting about that. The reason why women don't like video. See, now it makes sense of why women don't like video games. I just made this logic up while I was talking. Because you can say the same thing about men in video games. It's not real, but at the core, a video game has to be real because there has to be factual input to actually accomplish something in the game. See, as long as you just believe in hocus pocus bullshit, you can always kind of remake the narrative to whatever you want to say. Let's take like even things like religion, for example. You can, like, I could read a sentence in the Bible, you could read a sentence in the Bible, and we can come with two completely different perspectives on what that sentence actually meant, why it meant it. Right, and this is why a lot of women will inevitably. That's why religion is usually one of the common paths that many women will take in looking for a man once they get older, because religion is very good for that. You know, religion is very good for being easily manipulated, right? For how it's perceived. That's a big reason why the Muslim religion has so many issues in it, because if you just misunderstand or have a different perception of one sentence, that can change your entire opinion on everything. Oh, not everything, but like on a person, right? Now, video games, at first it looks like that, but at the core of video game, if you do not do, 2 + 2, you're not getting 4. You see what I'm saying? Like if you do not, like, just playing, just say if you're playing, like any game, right? You still have to put in the exact buttons to get X done, right? So I think video games, the more I think video games are a constant tease at what a woman is really, what women inevitably end up chasing in the end. It gives the illusion that it's just like a nonsense movie, but when they actually have to think about it and think about actually playing the video game, it's actually scientific in the end. Let's say if you play like Mortal Kombat, you have to hit down, forward, X to do a super move, and then without that, you're just not gonna do it, right? That hardcore logic. Women hate that hardcore logic. But yeah, facts are mean to women. They're mean. And again, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it because it's just the reality. Women cannot do not thrive in facts. Women thrive in. Hang on, I'm trying to get this. It's playing an ad over here. Women thrive in mystery bullshit. Because as long as things can stay mystery bullshit, she can always manipulate it.
All right, let me stop the conversation right here.
And as long as she can mysteriously manipulate it, she can always come up with some excuse or something to get her way out of it. Okay, let me minimize this. They just low-key bully each other. Wait, they just low-key... They just low-key bully each other. It's definitely funny and entertaining. James says white women don't have the collagen structure and a thinner skin barrier, so gravity gets them the fastest, and they develop jowls by their mid-late 30s. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, because I've never actually really, given it much thought, honestly. But it's definitely a known thing, like with Slavic women. Like they'll be, very good looking, but like they just don't. And here's the thing. It's still a situation where like they could do something to at least balance it out, or work with it, right? And very few of them do. Now the woman I work with, she of course she's had to. And like I said, and I told her I'm proud of her. I'm on the good note. Let's before I get on this video, let's in the last rant for like an hour. On a good note, the woman I teach, I am proud. I'm genuinely proud of her. I mean, because she tells me the real. Now here's the thing: when you deal with people who are like higher up workers or like they've genuinely done something with their lives. See, like people like us know the reality of lives and success. I mean, sure, there are people out there who achieve success through hard work. But more times than not, it's not really about the hard work. It's about the connections and people you know and have. Right? So she told me last week. Well, she told me how she got her job. She said she told because she's in a high position now where she is now. And she told me how she got her job. She said she was just out drinking till like 5 a.m. and she met the hiring boss while she was drinking at 5 a.m. in a bar in Prague. And he offered her the job. And that's how she got the job where she is now. I said, yeah, and I told her, yeah, that's how it happens. It doesn't happen by just filling out applications. Like it happens, these higher positions, like regular positions happen like you fill out application, da 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 da. Is more, in my experience, that's always more common. But for people who are like in like the higher worlds of the workforce, very rarely does it work through an application process. Like those formal things, it doesn't happen like that. It happens out of like bumping into people, having a similar culture, whatever. It doesn't happen by cold applications don't work in these contexts. So she was telling me last week how oh yeah, when she was down at the MotoGP thing, she was talking to the CEO of another bank, and she asked him how he got the no, I think it was, I don't think he was a CEO, but it wasn't of a bank. It was for like some motorcycle thing, and she was, I think she had to do like journalism kind of thing, and I think she was documented, and the guy told her. And he told her the truth. He said, well, the other guys, they just quit and there was nobody else there, so I just became CEO. And she was like, no, but so we started laughing and saying, like, yeah, you can't tell people that in the world. Like, people don't want to hear that. In the world, people want to hear that you did hard work and all that, But I mean, I get it. That's how these things work. They don't work like, it's not about hard work. And that's one thing that Andrew Tate touched on, which I do agree. Well, I agree with most of whatever I heard Andrew Tate say. He mentioned how the rich have sold that being rich sucks to the poor very well. Like they've sold it very well to the poor to make them okay, and to make them think that hard work is good and all that. Like they've really bamboozled the working class people in the belief that. And in many ways, I do agree with it. Now, when I say it, I'm not saying that rich people don't have problems. That's a very big distinguishing factor. There's always a problem wherever you go. But I agree with Andrew Tate on that. The rich have definitely bamboozled the poor into believing that hard work is very important, and the sweat of your brow and all that. Can you start the video from the beginning? Yeah. I was just gonna ask that because it keeps starting at random times. Can't wait to get my TEFL, man. Yo, okay, I wouldn't recommend coming to Europe with the TEFL. I would say go to an Asian country with TEFL, because Europe on a whole just doesn't really value education. And let me go into that real fast. So I went on this conversation with ChatGPT too. Because have you ever noticed how, like, whenever like America versus Europe comes up, or America versus the world comes up, the common thing that they usually make fun of is American healthcare and American education system, right? And how university in America is so expensive and it's free in Europe, right? And I'm just using Europe as an example because I'm in Europe. Now, what I asked ChatGPT is this. I said, why is it that Europeans tend to make fun of Americans for the education system, and Europe's higher education system is free? while at the same time, America has more higher educated people than Europe on a whole does. So then I had to go in and I had to tell ChatGPT, okay, because now here's the part that Europe, because Europe on a whole survives off of being very manipulative. So with education rates, you have to remember that they have a different set of education, a different hierarchy of education. So in America, for anybody who's in America, how education works, you know how it works. You go to maybe preschool, but you go to kindergarten, you go to grades 1 through 12, and that's it. You finish high school, and then you can go off to college to get a 4-year degree, right? Now, for example, Czech Republic, it doesn't work that way. In Czech Republic, yeah, they have high school and all that, but every kid is required to do a 1 or 2 year vocational study program, right? Now, in higher education rates, you have to be very careful wherever you get the education rates come out of Europe, because again, Europe is very manipulative, and they will shut the fuck up if it makes them look better, because they hope, like as a feminine way, they hope you don't pay attention to this. Now, they will always include the vocational education in those higher education rates, which falsely boosts their higher education rates, right? Now, when I got ChatGPT to acknowledge this and now give me the proper numbers, Europe on a whole is 10 to 15% lower rates of higher education than North America has, right? So then I asked ChatGPT, I said, well, why is it that if education is so-called free in Europe, well, why don't everybody just go to university or 70-80% of the population go and get degrees if education is so free and Americans are so dumb, right? This math is not mathing out. Why isn't, if you actually look at the data, and I ask, well, are Europeans just happy being ignorant? Are they happy being uneducated? Like, why don't they go and say, oh, well, they actually focus more on on work experience, blah, 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 and which we all know that's not great, because the UK actually figured it out and they got their shit together and caught up to North America's education rates, right? Higher education rates. But yeah, that's another very interesting topic. I'll let go for now. But yeah, let's start this video because it's already going on 9. And summer's definitely over because it's dark. The street lights are on now. Let's start this video.
You guys are looking at the title of the video. You're looking at the thumbnail. Let's just get right down up in it. Now, I did a piece of content. This is about 3 or so days ago. Title of that video was Boss Babe Gets Checked After Refusing to Date Average Earning Man. The content was taken from tonight's Conversations platform of this lovely young lady. I believe she goes by the name Dr. Sarah. This video amassed over 100,000 views, and the reason for that is because it brought into the spotlight this conversation around dating average earning men, a man making $70,000 per year. Would you accept that if you were making over $400,000? And began to articulate why. Now, it seems as though she was likening the amount of money that he was making to his leadership capabilities. I talked about that. But during the conversation, she received exceptional pushback from this lovely young lady right here. Nevertheless, I found a follow-up conversation to this where she was acknowledging the backlash that she was receiving from the internet, as well as doubling down with this young brother, Tony. This is a hell of a freeze frame right here. We're not going to edit it out.
He's a comedian.
But was doubling down on the conversation with this brother. His name is Tony Baker, hilarious comedian and super intelligent brother. So I wanted to break down this conversation. And let me also be specific. It's not so much about her words specifically, but around the general aura of what this conversation means within modern dating today, and to know that there is a majority of women that think just like her, irrespective of the dating hierarchy as it exists today. So I wanted to go and dissect the conversation and have a little bit of fun with it. Without further ado.
A man's finances plays a big part in how we roll.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Cuban Links? The duck was good.
Now, currently, I'm being eaten alive on the internet because I was asked,
What you say?
would I date a man that makes $70,000? What do you think my answer
I know
was?
your answer was no. Because we had the conversation. I was like, really?
Now, tell me why that's bad.
I don't think it's bad.
Why is it judged so harshly?
Because Well, you got many different factors.
Yeah,
a lot of-
Please tell me, as from a man's perspective, I need to know.
A lot of people fall into that price range.
What does that have to do with me?
Because when people see you say something,
Yeah.
based on just you, this is just my preference.
My preference.
Immediately, people go into, oh, you talking about me.
Right.
And so that's the knee jerk.
Yeah.
So that's why they like, oh, this, that, and the third.
Right.
And you have the people that have been gold dug on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, she just after the money, man. And so you got that coming at you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and people get in their feelings, they get triggered by various reasons, like, well, I make this, and so they feel away. So, but everybody has their preference.
Everybody has their preference.
Everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that. Everybody. Here's the thing. And I want to make it very clear. Everybody has their preference, whether they want to date black, white, 70,000, 100,000, whatever. Everybody has it. Everybody has their preference. But what I want to add real fast is Instagram and the internet gave women like this. Okay. Women like her, because I don't even have to hear her talk much. I already know what she, okay. By the time a woman has to say it, she doesn't deserve it. Okay. Do you think I don't know if do you think Bill Gates' daughter is walking around saying, I can only date a man who makes X amount of dollars? Ask yourself this question. Anybody who can be watching this video, for me to make my point, ask yourself this, man or woman, hot bitch or regular bitch. Ask yourself this question. Would Bill Gates' daughter be walking around saying, I need to date a man who only makes da 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 da? Do you think Sylvester Stallone's daughter is walking around saying, I'm only going to date a man who makes da 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 da? Do you think, I don't know, what do you think any woman who was born into that life, who belongs in that life, is walking around saying that? No. Because it's her life. She's already in a culture of people who earn that. So it's not even to be spoken out loud. I don't have a problem with that. I wouldn't expect Bill Gates' daughter to date a dude who makes $70,000, right? Because that's not a part of her culture. That's her life. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West kids, they don't got to walk around and say that. See, you know who says that? People phonies. Fake ass chumps say that. See, motherfuckers who walk around and say, "Oh, I want a Ferrari." Motherfuckers who want a Ferrari, if they got to say it out loud, that mean that they don't belong with it. Because if they want a Ferrari, they just go get a Ferrari, or they'd be in a world with other motherfuckers that got Ferraris. You see what I'm saying? See, because it's women like her that should have never got access to a smartphone. Now, I'm not saying they wouldn't have existed before, because there's always been, this certain level of trash has always existed. This certain level of trash has always been there. This is trash. In this context. In the context of I only da 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 da. See, by the time she's had to say it out loud, that means that she can't get it. And she can't keep it. Okay, correction. Let me say this. The correction. It means that she can't get it and keep it. That's why she's got to keep saying it. Do you think Kim Kardashian walks around and says, I only use iPhone. I only want an iPhone. I only use the newest iPhone, blah, blah, blah. Do you think Kim Kardashian has to walk around and say that? No, because she can go buy her own goddamn iPhone whenever she feels like it. That's why. This woman can't, she's a hussy who put on 20 pounds of makeup and looks a little cute, got access to a smartphone and seen other women saying it, so now she thinks she can walk around and say it. It's trash. This is garbage. With a capital GARBAGE, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Any man in his right mind who has her requirements immediately knows not to go. Any man with sense and who's not desperate, who fits her requirements, will not talk to her. That's why she's still on the internet saying, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Any man who has sense would not do that.
Like I said, to this woman personally, do you think that Bill Gates' daughter is walking around talking like this? Do you think anybody? Do you think, I don't know if Master P's got a daughter. Do you think Master P's daughter is walking around saying, I only date men who do this, who got this amount of money and all that? No, because they're in that culture. That's their life. By the time you got to start showing shit off, that means that it's not your life. That means you're a fucking phony. Okay? If you by the time you get anything and you feel like you have to show it off, that is an immediate flag to say you don't belong with that. And you just had a little quick come up real quick. It's not, and that is definitely not your life. Do you think Bill Gates goes out and shows off his Rolls Royce to people and he wants people to see him in his Rolls Royce? No. Motherfucker probably don't even own a Rolls Royce and he could buy one if he wants it. Because it's his life. It's not her life. This woman is a dream-filled hussy. That's exactly that is the factual reality of what this is. And I really wish younger men would know this and be taught this and be taught this from older men to be able to see it. Okay. God, bitch. What's up, Cuban links? Yeah, the duck was great, man. I hope you're doing all right. Hope you're doing all right, man.
He has that preference.
And you know what? I gotta break this down, okay? Because they've been saying I've been waiting on Sarah to explain what she meant when she said what she said.
Yeah.
So for those of you that have been rocking with me, I appreciate you not jumping to conclusions.
Yeah.
But this I'm gonna give the science behind it, and then I'll talk about preference, right?
Okay.
Let's get into
The
the
science
We know the
behind it is
science.
human nature.
Yeah.
Masculine men
Prostitution.
desire an aesthetic because it says health, right?
Yeah.
Aesthetic, which is beauty. This is why masculine men want a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Being a beautiful woman is a part of being high
up,
value,
Silk?
right?
Uh-huh.
So they want that because symmetry usually means health, which means healthy air.
Yeah.
So either subconsciously or consciously, one of the reasons why masculine men are seeking beautiful women is because they want healthy children. Whether you know it or not, that's just the truth.
Yeah.
That's the science behind it. For feminine
Sure,
women, we are naturally seeking safety and security.
Okay.
Okay, no, all women are seeking safety and security.
So do you have to make what I make or however much you make or whatever that may, the dollar amount, it's not about the dollar amount. It's I personally, my life, I can't even live where I live off of $70,000 a year after taxes. I'm homeless. You know what I mean? I don't fit into that vision. And I don't want to feel bad for not fitting into a vision. But let's take it back to science. If I'm supposed to be seeking safety and security, the same way that I desire that is the same way that a man wants an aesthetic. So
Okay, now real quick, let me stop this right here. Because again, see, women hope that you don't think anything through. Now, what she's saying is true. Men, I don't know why it keeps fading out. Like probably because they probably updated it so it blurs out when I click off. Okay, so real fast. Yes, men want women with, healthy skin, healthy hair and all that because men want, because the health of the kids and all that. And women are seeking security and this for when they have kids because women are essentially useless when they're pregnant and have kids, right? For the most part, generally speaking, right? Now, the part that she's leaving out is that women do not care. Okay, she doesn't care if she has to rob you blind to secure her independence, to secure her protection. She doesn't care if she has to. This woman does not care if she has to literally rob you blind to do it, or live off your child support while you go take care of another woman. That's the vital part that gets left out whenever science comes into the room with this. Psychology gets left out. See, one of those two always get completely pushed to the side because most people don't study both sides. They usually only focus on one or the other because the other will be too hard for them. Right? Psychologically, this woman will do whatever she can to rob you dry to secure her safety and all that. So what she's saying is not wrong, but what she's saying is not wrong, but it's trying to infer that her tastes are thoroughly through righteous reasonings.
So as a man, if you wouldn't take a woman, because 80% of people are overweight or obese in America, if you wouldn't take a woman that's 70 pounds overweight and universally unattractive, but she has a good heart,
Right.
and she nurtures you,
Yeah.
and she loves you, and she cooks and she cleans and she does all those things, would you choose that woman?
All right, we're going to let Tony cook here in a quick second, but I got to address her specific points. She brought it back to science. Masculine men want most attractive, feminine women want highest degree of protection and provision. But the error in her ways is that in the original clip, she compared him making $70,000 with him being a leader.
It's about leadership. So for me,
But money
if
doesn't
I'm
equate
gonna-
to
No,
leadership
no,
at
That's
all.
what I'm
This is
saying.
what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are going to lead me in the ways, that means you need to have the mindset. That means you need to have the mentality,
This is
the
trash.
emotions,
She's
the
trash.
spirit,
Okay.
the energy. If you're gonna lead this household, I don't.
That's not unlocked at $400,000 per year, Sarah.
She's trash.
That's what I'm trying to. It's not unlocked. And all of a sudden they have like this masculine leadership epiphany. Ability to lead as a masculine man is loosely correlated with the amount of money that you are bringing in. And I would say it's more so correlated if the guy is making $30,000 a year as opposed to $70,000 a year. But after $70,000 per year, there is so much diminishing returns when it comes to being an effective leader within a life, within a family. So when she says that it's not about money, that's a lie, because it's absolutely about money, because money affords different lifestyles. If she says that these are my standards because I want this lifestyle, then I, and most of the internet ain't got no issues with it. It's the equivalence of money to leadership. But let's let them cook.
Me, personally, or just you, in general?
In general, what do you think
Gotcha.
most men would say?
They be like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I
But
gotta
she has
go.
a good heart.
Yeah,
But she
you know,
loves you.
but,
But she
you
cooks
know,
and she cleans.
But it is, the fried chicken.
Right.
thing.
So the truth is, you wouldn't because you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it, right? Even if she's going to the gym every single day. Now, people will say that's harsh. It is human nature. This is may the strongest survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
True.
I personally think that we need to stop being so sensitive about people's preferences.
I agree.
We need to stop being.
Well, yeah, and I okay. See, first, okay, let me just be very clear. My opinion. I mean, I don't know her personally, but when it comes to the context of dating, I'm always bluntly honest about it. She's garbage. She's complete trash. I would never recommend a friend to date her. I know a girl right now who's 200 pounds, and I would recommend my friends to date her before dating this woman. I know one girl I'm thinking about her right now. She's got to be 200 pounds, and I would recommend her over this woman. This woman's garbage. And again, I mean, she might be a good person to talk to, and I don't mean that to be mean or anything, but she's trash. Like I said earlier. Do you think Willow Smith, after she broke, I don't know, I think she might be gay or whatever. But yeah, but hear me out. Do you think like a girl in like Willow Smith's position, Will Smith's daughter, do you think when she breaks up with a guy, she's walking around saying, I got to date a guy with such and such money and this and that? No. She's not doing that. Do you really think these girls who are truly who truly live in these lifestyles are walking around saying this shit out loud? Now, of course, they're going to want a guy like in their lifestyle and better, but these girls don't have to go out there here and say it because it's their life, it's their culture. See, when you had a family who was probably at best some middle-end worker and at worst is probably working at McDonald's or some shit like that. See, those women have to walk around and scream it because they're desperate to get out. Because it's not their lifestyle. It's a bonus for them. It'd be like going to like a super poor country and okay. It was like, well, I don't want to use that example because might tell too much information. Okay, okay, the equivalent of what she's doing would be like going to like in the middle of nowhere in Argentina and saying and genuinely thinking that you're impressing people because you eat at McDonald's. And you got to eat at McDonald's at least 2 times a week. Because, in these places where money is low, McDonald's can be a fucking luxury, right? It's an event. Right? I got to eat McDonald's. Da, da, da. See, motherfuckers who can go afford McDonald's don't got to walk around and always broadcast this shit with a fucking cunty attitude about it, right? If anything, it's like, I want some McDonald's, but I just broke on low on money. You know, in cultures that have money, but maybe they just lost it or just broke at the moment. You know, if they want McDonald's, it's like, man, damn, I want some McDonald's, right? They're not walking around like, well, I got to have McDonald's. I don't mess with nobody who ain't eat McDonald's because I need McDonald's because McDonald's means leadership and all that. They're not doing that, right? People who are in that, it's just the people who can't afford McDonald's who are putting off this fake ass fucking persona that you're somehow not human or good enough for them unless you're eating McDonald's. See, those are the fucking phonies. Those are people, you know. And here's the thing: once you sit down with a person like that, mark my words, it will never end. This poor woman, this poor woman, literally and figuratively, this poor woman can't even see it within herself because she's garbage. She can't see it. She's trash. It will never stop because it's not her life. It will never be enough. Let's say for the off chance that she does get with a guy who makes whatever she is thinking that will solve her life's problems, right? Let's say if this woman does get with that guy, what'll happen in 2 to 5 years? She'll become bored with that and monkey branch if she's not 300 or 400 pounds by then. She'll try to monkey branch up to the next. She'll essentially become Angelina Jolie in this context. She'll just keep trying to date bigger and bigger stars, and if she can do it, until she just hits a wall and it's done. She'll eventually, because the only thing that is keeping this woman even sitting in front of a camera is because she was biologically lucky, ended up with a decent face structure, and put about $400 into her wig and her makeup and her clothes that she got from some dude. That's the only reason why anybody even cares to listen to her now. So it definitely isn't her personality. All right, that's not going. She's not getting any men because her personality is just so fucking awesome. Okay, because again, any man who has any genuine character or heart will be able to see through the fake smile and fake agreeableness pretty quickly. Now she thinks she's getting away with it, and she thinks the guy is falling for it. But the guy usually, if the guy has any heart or character, he knows he's just playing along just to bend her over, you know, to fuck her in a day or two, that kind of thing, right? And again, since this woman does not come from that lifestyle naturally, her whole job is to find a man so she can figure out how to siphon money out of him in the end. And if she has to play mommy to his kids to do it, then she'll do that. But she will do that. This is grade A+. This is grade S+ garbage. She's just biologically lucky right now. That's all it is. Trust me, dude, I'm walking the streets of Prague. All right? This is grade A garbage.
Think that we need to stop being so sensitive about people's preferences.
I agree.
We need to stop being, and also, if I am working on myself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, and energetically, what is wrong with me wanting to be equally yoked to a person that is also those things?
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that a man that makes $70,000 a year doesn't deserve love? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It means they absolutely get to have the woman that they desire. And for me, I've worked to a point where that's my preference is not to have that.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And also for the men that are at home, if you would not choose a universally, and I'm saying universally across the board, unattractive woman that's loving and sweet and kind and nurturing, don't talk to me.
The difference is the analogy, the actual analogy is if I said, I'm not going to choose this homely, overweight woman because she's unable to bring me peace. That's called a false equivalency. Peace should not be tied to how ugly that she is, the same way that leadership should not be tied to income.
Don't say nothing else because this is shallow. It's crazy. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense though?
I mean, For me, I'm team preference. I'm like, you like
Team
what you like. Because a lot of times we don't have any control over what we like.
Yeah.
We like what we like. We're attracted. We're drawn to what we're drawn to.
Right.
Now, the financial thing could be a little bit different because
Why?
that's more of a. I feel like that could be changed.
No, you want to know why it shouldn't be changed?
I'm not saying it should.
But-
I think it can
But
be.
you want to know why?
Mhm.
Finances are a choice. What you look like isn't.
Well, nowadays it's a choice.
Well, even surgeries, there are some women that, they say if you're already beautiful and you get surgery,
Yeah.
you're going to be more beautiful. Some women get surgery and they are, they're better looking women.
Look at my brother's face. My man is trying to figure out how to wiggle himself up out of this one. How do I agree but not agree at the same time?
Than they used to be. However, there's levels to everything. And look, I'm not the most beautiful girl in the world. I know this about me. But my spirit is dope. And my energy is fire. And I know that there are things about me that are attractive way outside of my aesthetic. So I think that we as women should focus on the intangible things that we bring.
Yeah.
But I'm just so sick and tired of this, rah, 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 rah. Don't try to break me down because of preference. What's up, guys? Sarah.
What about this?
Okay, tell me.
Let's say you meet a man.
Ooh.
Everything is on point.
Oh, spicy.
With that salary. He's 70,000, but
Yeah.
everything about him is right up your alley.
So this is my question. Is he committed to the 70,000 or is that just right now?
No, it's just right now. He's open
that's
to
different.
He's open to, he's trying to do different
an
things
entrepreneur.
within his business, whatever that may be. You know what I'm saying? The 70,000 is not the end all be all for
Okay,
him.
well that's completely different.
Yeah.
And is it potential in action? Like is he in action or is he just talking?
He moving and shaking. He's
Oh,
moving
that's
and shaking.
completely different
ambition.
story.
But he's 70 grand in. And he might be 70 grand in for the first 3-4 years y'all dating.
Okay.
But he's still moving and
there's
shaking.
See, at this point, like, I mean, I get what he's getting at. I get what he's doing. And because it's a podcast and they got to make content, like, I just would not talk to this woman. I don't even care to know her opinion, honestly. No. I just would never care to even, like, I would never want to have to sit in a room with this woman ever again in life, because there's nothing good that's going to come out of it. It's just garbage. This is just it's a bag full of garbage, with about $50 worth of makeup on, and a $200 wig. It's trash. But I genuinely I'm gonna watch it because it's on YouTube, because I'm on YouTube streaming it for the content. But I genuinely don't care about her opinion. I've heard enough. I've seen I've seen and heard enough. But for YouTube and content.
No way a man's gonna come around me and stay at 70 grand for 3-4 years. That's not even realistic.
Meanwhile, and this is a woman, right? This is a woman. What I say, the inevitability. This is her inevitability right here. So I need to make that. Now, and okay, but the difference is, if she needs a man who makes more money, right? She's gonna want a man who makes more money, right? But at the same time, a man is gonna want, what her claim to fame is being youthful, for high fertility and all that. See, she can never keep up her end of the deal. It's impossible for her to keep up her own end of the deal and her own bullshit game that she's trying to spread on the internet. She cannot keep her side of it. It's biologically impossible for her to keep up her side of the bargain. So yeah, sure. While this guy, she wants a guy who makes however much money, well, he can always keep going out there and making more money. We can all agree to that. Like that's a very, it's a good possibility, right? The man, from what for her own bullshit argument, she's trying to compare. What she's bringing to the table is youth, beauty, and fertility, generally speaking. And then what she's trying to exchange, what she brought up is the science. Her science explanation was youth, beauty, fertility, right? And she's trying to trade that for finances, leadership, resources, right? Now, the difference is these three can keep going. These can stay the same or grow or go down or whatever. Now, the only thing that is certain to lose their part of the deal is the woman. For her own scientific explanation, it is impossible for her to hold on to her fertility, her youth. It is impossible. She is a losing game. It is inevitable she would lose. Now ask yourself this. Would you bet on a team that will, okay, if you were to go to Vegas and put all your chips on a team that you knew was going to lose, it was no way they could have made it out, would you go in there and put $10 on that game? Fuck no, so why the fuck would you put it on this bitch? Why would you put 10 cents on her if you know that will inevitably lose? Again, based off of her core explanation of what the exchange is biologically. Youth, fertility and youth for resources and money and leadership. That is a 100% losing bet from the man based off of her own explanation. And she will sit there and keep throwing out bullshit. And she'll keep saying, and she'll keep doing it. She literally explained herself that she is a complete losing hand. She is going to lose. Again, this is what about this says youth, fertility, and healthy children? Absolutely nothing. None of that is there. And like with Bonnie Blue, either this woman is either going to die young or turn into that. And she's talking all this shit while she's at the top now. She can say all this because she can, desperately hold on to her youth and fertility from, makeup, surgeries, whatever. She can hold on to it for a little while. But she literally will look you dead in the fucking eye and explain to you, to your face, that she's a completely losing hand and hope you don't pick up on it. And then she'll just keep going on about it. To keep validating on why you should put $10 on her as an inevitable losing hand. It's the greatest joke ever made to humanity. It was punishment from the gods, actually, because Prometheus gave humans fire, and as punishment, we were given women. I don't know if motherfuckers knew that, but yeah, like that was like women were literally made as a curse from the gods, if I remember correctly. Let's Google it to make sure I'm not women given as punishment for fire. Let me make sure I'm not. Oh wait, I think that was it. Greek myth. The Historian's Hut. I don't know what this website is. Does this look legit? Yeah, Greek myth. Yeah, the women were created to punish men for because after Prometheus gave us fire, I'm pretty sure Zeus gave us women as punishment for receiving fire. Yeah. Zeus, the art god of the Greek religious pantheon, disapproved of mankind's possession of fire, and he decided to punish mortal men for their receptiveness to Prometheus's gift. The first woman, yeah. Pandora. Yeah, women were given to us as punishment for receiving fire. It is the best joke. Like Zeus had to have a sense of humor with this shit. He had to have a great sense of humor with that. Yeah, she's perishable. Yeah, gains that. Yeah, she's a perishable item. Yeah. A woman is literally a perishable item in the terms of what she's trying to fight for in her logic of dating, a specific value of man, right? It would be like trading an apple for a guitar, right? That guitar is going to outlast that apple 100 times over as long as it catch on fire, right? Or like a Porsche for a bag of oranges. A woman is literally a piece of fruit, and a man is a physical is I don't want to say a man is like, okay, a man is a mechanical object, and a woman is literally is a perishable item. There is no, okay, in the exchange, her youth and beauty will not outlast man's position in life. It's not, now maybe on a temporary level she'll get with a guy and he was making good money and he lost his money, that she can outlast like that little snippet. But I'm talking like in the world of dating, in the constant world of what we're exchanging between man and woman, there is no way she can keep that up. It's impossible. It will not happen. Okay? So her best option, and this is what she's really trying to do. Her best option is to find a dude with money who's an idiot, who will pump her full of a baby, and then she'll siphon money out of him throughout the rest of his life, or throughout the next at least 20-something years. That's her best option. That's all women's best option. Let's be 100% clear about that. That's her best option. Because again, I don't care how beautiful she is, that wall is coming for every woman, unless she dies while she's young.
Would you help him? Would you?
I would help him. That's what I'm saying. There's no way with a me on your side.
Chance.
Yeah, that was a different question. Though.
Yeah, there's a chance.
If you're committed to 70,000, I don't fit in that vision for life. But if you're growing your business, and you just
now, okay, yeah, she just said if you're committed to 70,000, I'm not made for that life. Now, again, remember what her trade-off was youth and beauty, right? So your youth and beauty will fade. So should a man be dedicated to her life with her inevitably fading beauty? Because it will fade. That is the guarantee in the deal. Okay, that is the only guarantee. That is the one thing that is absolutely guaranteed out of the two trading positions, is that her beauty will fall. Now, a man could fall and raise whatever. That's, we don't know. But the only certainty is that this woman will not look like this 10 years from now. And she's definitely not going to go up. She's going to go down. Well, let's be clear. The only thing that's certain is that her value in her own matrix of value is that her value will diminish.
Don't know, or you need the right relationships, or you need to be in different rooms, or you need help, or I'm a neck and I'm a strong one.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
What does that mean?
It means men are the head and we're the neck.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I know my role.
Yeah.
And I think we live in a world where women have forgotten their place.
Oh.
I want the comment section to light up at this current junction, because if I had my blue cap, I put it on right now. Specific to, do I think that if she already says that she's in the air of dudes that make a salary requirement, will she give a dude that makes $70,000 a year a chance if he's making it for 3 to 4 years? I don't think so. I think it's irrational to consider if the general dude that she's dating makes a lot more money. But my question is that, when are these conversations going to get out of prioritizing the money in his pocket and more so prioritizing the mentality, the morality, the integrity, right? Because I think that it's easy for a woman to be a neck of somebody that's making hundreds of thousands of...
Okay, real quick, and let's be clear. I never heard this the analogy of the head and the neck thing. I never heard this till I moved to Czech Republic, and I heard them say that in Czech. They have that saying here. And you want to know what else goes along with it? And this is another reason why I know she's a complete goddamn fool. Okay? Is because any woman I ever spoke to here about that saying, they say they hate that. They don't want to have to be the neck. The neck is annoying. So in this saying, men are the head and women are the neck. For those of you who may not have gotten that, what that means is the man essentially has all the value, and the woman just kind of turns him to go do and make, kind of manipulates or demands the entire situation. The neck is like demanding where the head goes, right? And every Czech woman I've known, we talk about that, and they don't like it. They use that analogy in the opposite meaning. This is another way I know how this woman is a goddamn fool. Okay, the women here, they use that in it's not something they don't want to be the neck. Being the neck is not attractive. Because how I understand it through the Czech language is being the neck means you essentially have to be the man. Because you're turning, you're demanding, you're moving, you are the masculine one. And see, and in Europe, I'll give Europe the benefit of the doubt. The women here definitely hold on to, well, in most of the rest of the world, outside of Western countries, the women still hold on to their femininity. Right? Women still value true femininity. Right? See, women like this, there's nothing feminine about this girl. This is, well, okay, let me correct that. There's nothing feminine in the context of being desirable for a wife. Okay, but I can look at her and tell she can throw a right hook. She she probably grew up in the hood. She knows how to fight and all. There is nothing about her that is dainty or feminine at all. Now, American guys may not be able to see it because you're in America, you're in Western world, and women became butch men out there. Even if they can dress up and look a little pretty, which she is pretty, this woman would probably beat me up if she got angry. Right? Or stay at a good chance at it, right? She fucked around and got mad and I wasn't ready for that shit. She probably mess around and you mean throw punches, throw a right hook better than me. There's no femininity in this shit. The point I'm trying to get at, there is nothing feminine. She thinks she's feminine. Okay, but there's nothing, I don't, no, there's nothing. And then she'll throw on the whole, I seen the other clip, you know, they'll study other women who look more feminine, so they'll try to pretend to be feminine too. But no, I get, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I can just sense it in her. There is nothing feminine about this at all. Outside of her just being a woman, you know, there is no femininity. And again, like I said, that analogy she used is literally, she took that analogy. I don't know if American women are using this, but she used that analogy in literally the complete opposite way that I've ever heard it over here. And I didn't hear it until I've come here. Like I said, because I remember I was talking to one girl, the one who had the baby father in the U.S., and she said she got with him because he was in the military, and she thought that he would be, you know, this strong, independent, self-thinking man just because he was in the military. When in reality, she had to actually do a lot of thinking because he just didn't know how to think because he was in the military. Military doesn't teach you how to think. The military teach you how to be the head, and the military is the neck, right? The military just tells you where to go, right? You never really learn independent thought in that lifestyle, right? And that was one of the first times I heard it because she said, she explained it to me like, that he was the head and I was the neck, and they don't want that because being the neck means you're still the commander. And no woman wants to, and she's talking about being a leader. She wants a man to be a leader, but then she's using this analogy of the head and neck. She doesn't even understand. I don't think she even gets it. Again, like I would have left the room not long after I walked in there with a woman talking like that. I just wouldn't deal with it. Mostly probably because I'm living in Europe and I just got a better access of women to have to be around over here. So I don't have, I know I don't have to even, I know I don't even have to entertain a woman like this because there are just other options everywhere you go in Czech Republic to meet just overall better quality women, not just because they're white, but just because there's better overall at being a woman. I'm not saying they're not shitty too, because they're shitty in their own way too. But just in terms of being an overall woman, yeah, I just have better options. I would not talk to this woman. I don't want to. You would have to pay me to talk to her, either with alcohol or just straight up money. Like I would not go there. I would never, unless I just happen to already been sitting at the table. I would never knowingly go to a place where a woman like that is. And I would venture to say most people that I know over here would say the same thing. But see, back in the States, you guys don't really have a lot of options like that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it's an event to be able to sit with just a woman, right? So the quality completely goes down. You know, the requirements for like personality are just completely in the dumpster, completely in the dumpster in America. But yeah, this is trash. Like I said, I would never. You have to pay me money to talk. You have to pay me money to acknowledge her existence in real life. You would have to pay me money.
Of dollars upon
gross.
hundreds of $1,000s per year. But what we see far too often is the average man,
Cuban links,
or
yeah.
the little bit
Yeah.
better than average man, getting disrespected for making $70,000 per year. No woman wants to be to the neck of that, even though there's a large majority of them that are average at best on their damn own. And one must also consider the degree of delusion if men are like this in your vicinity and you already have at least one of them. Now, we don't necessarily know her relationship status. She probably doesn't put it out there. And one must also consider if these are the men that you are around, and if these men are not retaining you, then are you being delusional? Should there be a money standard? Because so many of these women would have men trying to retain them if they just gave them a shot. Anyway, let's keep going.
Oh, snap. That sounded tough.
Did it?
You forgot your place.
It's the truth. Women have forgotten their place, Tony. We're so masculine, we're so hard, and I understand it because it's survival based.
Yeah.
But like, it's a defense mechanism. Women don't want to be this hard,
Yeah.
masculine, strong, tough. We don't want that.
I believe you. You know why?
Why?
The women I come around in that regard, they go into their feminine with me.
Yeah, I believe
And I
you.
don't even force it.
I believe you.
And they just do it.
I believe
And
you.
like I've had women tell me, like, man, you got me in my
You want to know
feminine.
why?
Mm,
Because you make your yeses yeses and your no's me no.
mm,
Even me,
mhm.
who is an ultimate pusher, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to push to get what I want,
Right.
obviously. Most people, well, I don't know. I definitely push to get
Yeah.
what I want. And if I don't get it, if you tell me no, have you noticed that I stop pushing as much with you specifically?
No.
No, it's the same level of push.
The one time I had to tell you, like, yo, I had to tell you, like, hey, man, respect my no.
But since then,
Well, you haven't asked me anything.
I
since
just-
then.
you're here
this,
today.
Just this.
period. But I didn't push because I learned. Your yeses mean yeses and your no's mean no.
So you wasn't going to ask again?
No,
Oh.
no.
See, I didn't even get to that point because I was like, yo,
Yeah.
it already came to you.
That's what I'm
with the-
saying. It was literally like, hi.
Right.
It wasn't
That's
like,
true.
hey, come do the show. What's up with the show?
Yeah.
Because that's not, but I've learned you now.
hmm
And we as women, we're seeking leadership. We're seeking certainty. We're seeking decisiveness. And your yeses mean yes.
Anthony, TEFL is teach English. I was sort of like South Park. You know, they make fun of Asian people. Teach English. TEFL means teach English as a foreign language. And then they have other ones like TEFL Sol or something like that. But TEFL is the most commonly known one. TEFL is a certification that you get to go teach English as a foreign language to other countries. And it's usually about they've probably even condensed it even further since I've been over here, but I think it's like a 6-week course or maybe an 8-week course or maybe a month course. I can't remember. And you can even do it online. You don't have to go anywhere to do it. I'm pretty sure you can do it all online now. But it's called Teach English as a Foreign Language.
And your no's mean no. So this is the lesson for the men that you've just said when, I've had women on the show that have been like, if we're mouthy or we're this,
Yeah.
you need to step up your masculinity. What she meant to say is
Yeah.
when it's not stepping up masculinity,
Mhm.
but when you're boldly in your masculinity, us as women, we
No. Okay, real quick. Let me go ahead. Shut this dumb shit down right now, immediately. Capital E fucking immediately. Let me shut this dumbass shit down because it's dumb shit like this that has men walking around completely goddamn confused. Because women are completely confused. Now everybody becomes confused because the men start following the women. You're talking about, man, you have to step into your masculinity. Okay, let me shut this dumbass shit up right now. Okay. If you're a woman, you know what your femininity is. Okay. That whole step into your masculinity thing, that doesn't come out till much later in a relationship. Okay. Up front in the beginning, has nothing to do with it. It's your responsibility as a woman to know your femininity. Now, it's not my fault that you're not feminine. Okay, you just don't have. It's not my job to correct you, put you in it, none of that. Okay, your job is to know your femininity. It's not my responsibility. Another is no. It's your responsibility to be a decent fucking human. Don't put that shit off on another man. But I know what women like her would do. She'll put her complete dingbat bitch shit off on another man and blame him for it. It's not his responsibility. That's your responsibility. See, this is why her relationships, I would guarantee you, probably don't work out or they're in constant peril. Is because she keeps putting her adult feminine responsibility off on somebody else. And so now the whole responsibility is built off of him making you a woman. Because you're not even a fucking woman yet. You're not a woman yet. You're relying on somebody else to make you a woman. And see, that's why you got to be on the internet screaming that you want a man that you obviously can't get. That's why. From the fucking start. See, that step into your masculinity, that comes much later. Much later. A man should not have to step into his masculinity. A man should not have to step into his masculinity to make you a feminine woman. If you're not feminine, you're not feminine. Accept it. The sooner you accept that you're not a feminine woman, that you're actually quite mannish, the quicker you'll solve your life problems. It's really weird how that works, but accountability is not woman's strong suit. And that's how that is for any woman watching. That's how you end up like this woman. Just talking a bunch of dumb shit. Saying a bunch of dumbass shit. Now, stepping in masculinity comes much later. Stepping into masculinity comes when she's clearly trying to run some bullshit on you, or she's trying to run some dumbass game or something like that. So stepping into masculinity comes in point where you have to make a stand for yourself because she's testing you and she knows she's testing you. That's when it's time to step into your masculinity. Not when you're just approaching a woman, you just met her, you just known her for not too long and all that. No. It's her job to already know where her femininity is. Period. That would be like saying a lion should teach a deer how to be a deer. No, that fucking deer knew it was a deer when it walked into that fucking arena with that lion. All right? The wolf, the deer just looked up and was like, well, the lion needs to teach me how to be a deer before it can hunt me properly because I don't really feel like a deer quite yet. No, see, that deer knows it's a fucking deer. You see what I'm saying? Animals ain't that dumb. Animals know what they are. Well, some of them might get confused from time to time, but they don't last too long for obvious reasons. The only reason women last long is because some pathetic man will eventually allow it. But animals aren't that dumb because animals aren't allowed to be that dumb and live to tell about it. The only reason women are allowed to be this dumb and live to tell about it is because there's always going to be a pathetic man that's going to allow her to live and tell about it. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely. See, like I said a month or two ago, man. See, like. As I've gotten now I'm like, look, the concept of dating is just stupid to me. Like of courting a woman, like see, why I was thinking about this walking down the street with my son, like seriously, think about the concept of dating. Now I don't have a problem with paying with people's food. Cuban links, I don't have a problem with paying for people's food. Especially if I'm having a good time or if I feel like I owe you because I fucked up something or whatever, right? But the concept of dating a woman and courting a woman, like there is the thought of the take on dating a woman is so ass backwards to me, right? It's like, why should it be an event for me to dress up, to pay for a woman's food, and to have to entertain a woman? And to keep her from being bored for an hour or two. That's not an event for me. That's an event for her. That's not fun to me. That's not an event for me. And I got to pay for her food? Wow, keep her entertained for hours? That's fucking retarded. No. Bitch, you could pay for your own food. Now, if I just want to go somewhere and you just happen to be there with me, yeah, I'll pay, and I'm just in the flow of things, yeah, I'll happily pay. But like that formal shit of like, well, would you like to go out can I take you out for dinner next week and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just supposed to automatically pay for all your food and drinks and then entertain you for 2 hours. What, you a fucking child? If I already got a baby, I don't want another one. Get your grown ass away from me. Don't get your, now again, I don't have Cuban links, I don't have a problem paying people's food. Like if given the situation, context, whatever, it doesn't bother me. But the concept of dating, I think is just dumb in that context. I think it's retarded. I think it's absolutely retarded. And this woman fits that. This woman is the type of woman who gets off on that, on guys who don't think about it or don't have the courage to enforce it. And just be alone. Like, a lot of guys just don't have the courage to just be alone or just go alone to a restaurant. I do it all the time. Well, I don't go out to eat much anymore, but when I did, I would go out to eat alone a lot. I wouldn't even tell my spouse where I would go. I'd just be sitting in the restaurant, in the middle of the restaurant by myself at a table. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's fun. In fact, what I used to do was, what's super trippy, super crazy? I never really tried, because like I said, I used to go out alone and just go to like pizza restaurants or try a new restaurant just by myself and sit in the middle of the restaurant and it'd be packed. I'd sit at a table by myself, like literally in the middle of the restaurant, right? One thing that is super weird, and I got from the Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr., where he's got his eyes closed and he's just listening to every little thing, right? But what it gets super weird is when you listen to that background rabble, like the and it's like this constant flow. And if you really pay attention to that constant background talk, that shit'll trip you the fuck out. Cause it's like, it sounds like it's a pre-recorded track. It doesn't even sound like it's individual people talking. That's just a little thing I found interesting. If you try it sometimes. If you're just out somewhere and it's a lot of people talking, and you just hear this background, try listening specifically to the background noise. It used to trip me the fuck out because it's like, it truly sounds like a pre-recorded track going on. It doesn't sound like people individually talking. But yeah, let me go through this video.
We naturally want to be feminine.
Yeah.
The world makes us masculine. So if you are the lines, right, and we color inside of the lines, if the lines start getting smaller, so do we.
Yeah.
We follow the rules that y'all give us. But most of y'all enable our bad behavior because you don't want to deal with it right now. You don't want to argue.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a hard time.
Right.
But that's what's necessary in order for a woman to truly trust you, to follow you, and to be feminine. Y'all got to have those conversations. I'm just saying.
You don't know what to say.
I feel it. It was something else I was going to touch on. Oh, I'm going to go back to 70,000, man.
Okay, come on.
She gained another point in my book right there. I think that was actually a fantastic point. I think a lot of young dudes, in an effort to keep peace within their life, they will kick the can on setting boundaries. But just like she said, and I will tell you guys time and time again, you must hold firm to your boundary.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all, one bit. No, not at all. I think that if she was feminine, her femininity should not matter about your masculinity. Okay? Doesn't matter. If she was, and see, this is where I feel sorry for Western men, because a lot of Western men do not know what actual femininity is, because they've never experienced it, because they're living in North America or a Western country. When you actually experience true femininity, true feminine women, it doesn't matter what your masculinity is. She's just going to be feminine. She's going to do it. It's not a deal. If the woman is feminine, she's just gonna be feminine. And again, this is where I feel sorry for guys who are out there in the West, because a lot of guys in the West have just no understanding of a truly feminine woman. A truly feminine woman, not a woman who's pretending to be feminine. And she needs an outside source to force her into her being feminine and all this craziness. Because see, why isn't that okay? So why is this woman's argument not including the fact that her femininity needs needs to force a man to be masculine. How come it doesn't work that way? It doesn't go like the other way around. I'll tell you why. Because she's not a feminine woman. That's why. She's never had to think about it. Because she's not feminine. But she knows the world wants to see her be feminine so she could blame somebody else for it. Like, you younger guys, I feel sorry for you guys, man. Because, like, so many women on the internet that who should never have access to a phone, get to talking on camera, and y'all fuck around and listen to this shit, have you all fucked up, have you all super confused and fucked up and distraught. I'm just going to end it right here. To be very clear, her femininity. Now, okay, I'm not saying she has to like you. I'm not saying that she has to like obey you and all that out of femininity, but her core femininity has nothing to do with you stepping into a masculine role. If she's feminine, she's going to be feminine. See, this is trash. This woman's trash. I'm telling you. And here's the thing. This woman has young girls listening to her, and she has young boys listening to her and taking notes. And those young girls are going to turn into her, and the guys are going to be confused following her. Even more confused following this shit. Because she's a little pretty right now. This is sad. It's sick and it's sad. She flat out told him straight to his face that she's a perishable item. But she expects the man to stay stable and grow. But her resources are growing slimmer by the hour. She can't even be held accountable for her own femininity. Because she's not feminine. And she can't even hold herself accountable for her own femininity, her own inevitable downfall for her exchange in the trade. What is her purpose for being here? What the fuck is this? I don't even know the girl's name. What the fuck is her purpose for even existing after the age of 30? For her qualifications. For her philosophy, what is the purpose for her existence? She's trading youth and beauty for money. Her youth and beauty will fade. She's trading femininity for masculinity. But her femininity only depends on if the man is going to make her feminine. So what the fuck is she independently in the world? I'll tell you what she is. She's a hussy. She's a prostitute. She's a glorified prostitute is what she is. What the fuck is there to her independently? If she had to sell herself for marriage, what the fuck would she actually sell? And what the fuck would she sell that you would look at and be like, okay, what you're selling is something that will last. You will literally be investing your life into a bag of fruit. Not even a big bag at that. Because that bag of fruit will perish before you and what you bring to the table. Now, would you go to the grocery store and invest your life savings into a ring for a banana? No. You wouldn't. Why? Because that's dumb. Dumb. Like South Park. Dumb. Not smart. It's dumb. Dumb. Smart. Investing money into a woman. Dumb. Y'all remember that song from South Park with was it the Mormon shit? Or the Scientology, or I can't remember which one it was. That is incredible. And again, based off this specific woman, her requirements, what she's stating and what she knows and all that, and everything that she said, You would not go to the grocery store and buy a red ring for a ribeye steak. No. I mean, probably pay a decent price for it to eat it, to get the taste, out of it one time. Prostitution. But you see what I'm saying? You're not going to spend, $1,000 on a steak. Unless you was getting a whole lot of other shit with it. So why the fuck would you spend $1,000 on a woman without her reaching other requirements for a whole lot of other shit? You see what I'm saying? Is that, I hope that's making sense. It was the origin of Mormon. Okay, it was the origin of a Mormon church. Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? So with this woman and her requirements and all this, right? Let's just say her hair is real. I doubt it, but let's say it's real. Let's entertain it. Let's say her hair is real, her skin's real, she's beautiful, all that. All of that will spoil. None of that is going to be where it is. This is as good as it gets for her at the moment. Let's just say her hair is real. Let's say her face is real. Let's say her eyelashes are real. Let's say her nails are real. Let's just entertain. Let's entertain her entire. Let's entertain her entire bullshit. Right? All her shit is completely real and all that. Right. And as a man, your career, your ability to earn income, all that's real. Right? You, as a man, you can lose your job and go out and get another one. When she loses her beauty, she can't lose her beauty and go out and get another beauty. It's gone. She already doesn't have femininity. She's clearly stated that she herself does not obtain femininity. She's clearly stated that. She does not obtain femininity within herself. She's clearly stated that. So she's literally just knocked off that from her own set of prerequisites. But she hoped nobody noticed. Right? So what is she in reality? Like what is her purpose for existing? Ask yourself this. As a man, ask what is your purpose for existing? A man's purpose for existing is to contribute to the world, to build, develop shit. That's man's general purpose in the world. Sure, there'll be off times, whatever, down times, whatever, but that's our overall purpose. What is her overall purpose out of all of this? It's to get fucked and pump out babies and see who she can siphon money out of. That's what her purpose is. That's the core fucking reality of it. There's no other way around it. This is what it is. Now, I'm not mad at her, anything like that. Like I said, I wish I never have to talk to this woman a day in my life. But I'm not mad at her. I mean, I don't hope she, suffers a horrible illness or anything like that. But I just really hope men can become better critical thinkers and in the day of social media, and where anybody can just buy a $100 cell phone and make a YouTube channel and just say anything. I just hope men can become more critical thinkers on situations. Because here's the one thing's for certain is that even with more technology and more education, women usually don't gain very good critical thinking skills. They're still highly influenced by crowds. They never really get there. But men can. Men can always rebuild losing things. But once women are gone, they're usually gone for good. There's usually no turning. For most things women have in life, they usually have a one shot. And then that's it. Like and that's how most women's lives usually go. Whatever they were doing, they usually do it that one shot, and once it's over, it's done forever. Where men, we can usually go out, break something, lose it, bounce back, fix it, grow and be stronger. Men do that, and I really hope men can just understand that and just learn to become well-rounded thinkers, man, and or just second guess things. Think outside the box. Think, okay, if you're feeling this, if you're thinking this, then think what somebody who already knew that would think on top of that, right? And think bigger than that. And for anything, right? If I say something and maybe I could have enlightened you and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. Okay, after you get over that high of like being enlightened, then think to yourself, okay, like what if I would have already known that? Where could I possibly go next in that logic, right? And think and try to think higher and think more intricately and think and come out with different possibilities of consequences of thinking with that, and how do you work with those consequences to make it still work, become better thinkers. That's what I want. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. It's late. Y'all have a good day, evening, night. I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace out.